Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Market cap at 203 billion. We have been seeing it go up and down, up and down. Bitcoin was at 6,800 at one point earlier this morning. Bitcoin Cash had a sharp drop. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts on the Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash, you can watch yesterday's video. I basically talk about it for 15 minutes. I will add one point that I didn't add in the video. One of the good things that happened with Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash during that dump, when all the head people from Bitcoin Cash, all the Segwit 2x people, all these people that had Bitcoin that were dumping it, they were dumping it into the hodlers' hands, right? So more hodlers than ever for Bitcoin, because they were dumping it and it was just putting Bitcoin on the map. Because first of all, anytime there's news, all I saw was, is Bitcoin about to be taken over? Is Bitcoin Cash a new Bitcoin? Like, that was over. All the media outlets, everyone was talking about the volume combined reached like 21 million at one, or 21 billion, 24-hour volume at one point, which is insane. Excuse my rude robot appliance in the background. And what happened now is all those bad actors, I don't want to call them bad actors, but basically China dumped their Bitcoin. And that's a good thing, because it's gone out of the centralized hands and more into the decentralized hands. It went into our hands, so to speak. So it wasn't a bad thing. We didn't need China before. We sure as hell don't need them now. I just believe that, and people who think, oh, well, they're going to get all the mining. Dude, the fucking second Bitcoin becomes more profitable to mine, they're going to switch over, China or not. No one cares. There's no loyalty here when it comes to the miners. There's no fucking Bitcoin Cash loyalty miners and Bitcoin. They don't give a fuck. Whatever makes the most money. So Bitcoin's always, it's just kind of a clusterfuck, because what happened was they were a victim of their own pump. People are just absolutely insane, ready to just jump off. I mean, I know there's so many people that bought at the top Bitcoin Cash at like 24,000, just FOMOing out. I don't know. That's just kind of like, I saw what was going on. I was reading it and I was like, well, am I just going to let the hostile takeover affect my decision? Because at the end of the day, there needs to be, Andreas made a really good video. You watch it. It's from, I think it was like 4 days ago, but he basically talks about how there needs to be an off-scale solution. I've been saying this the whole time as well when I first learned about it. On-chain isn't going to work if we're going to go absolutely mass adopt. It's just not. We're going to need some kind of super mega off-scale solution, off-chain solution. And from now on, the one thing that Bitcoin Cash isn't benefiting from is all the upgrades that Bitcoin are getting right now, because they're two different coins now. So all the new shit that Bitcoin's getting and adding every single day, Bitcoin Cash isn't. They don't have the tech power. They don't really have, they have the best and brightest minds like to be free, and they like to choose. And they're choosing Bitcoin. They're not choosing Bitcoin Cash. Yeah, you can buy people techs for Bitcoin Cash. And I'm not hating on either. Like, I'm not in the business of hating. I don't have time for that. I don't want to be slowed down. I'm on a one-track thing. I'm not trying to fucking, I'm not a crusader when it comes to this shit. I'm not trying to take down the enemy. I'm trying to win. And by proxy, winning in the moral, legit way, the enemy loses. So I'm looking at it as, I like the 1 megabyte block size when we can scale, meaning we can have all these micro transactions talking about 1 cent. A tenth of a cent even. That's what, these super micro payments, the future, just a little bit of patience. I know everybody wants, I know the raising the block size now increases, it solves the issue now. That's cool, but it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a crack in a dam. It's not really, once the floodgates open, Bitcoin Cash is going to see its problems as well. But hey, it's kind of like, it's polarizing. It's kind of sucking up all the people who really aren't Bitcoin loyalists outside of, the big names. I can't say Roger Ver is not a Bitcoin loyalist, but, these Chinese miner guys, they're not They're not playing around. And it's going to be checkmate pretty easy. So the 1 megabyte block, ASIC boost protection is off. You know, they don't have that with Bitcoin. It just makes it to where it's fairer game. You know, more people can mine. And yeah, it's always going to be centralized. I was watching a Crypto Lark's video, actually. He said something about that. And I found that interesting. That's very true. Like, there's always going to be some centralization. There's always going to be. I'm just in the boat of which one's less, right? You have to pick the lesser of two evils, and I just believe Bitcoin is the lesser of two evils. I think Bitcoin Cash is going to be way more centralized. Especially when they dumped all their Bitcoin. So, but moving on to the market. What else did I have? Oh yeah, I was always wondering what Winklevoss is, because they have like what 1% or something of all the Bitcoin or something crazy. They have a lot of Bitcoin. And I was just wondering what their take on Bitcoin Cash is, right? I googled it. I'm trying to research it. If anyone knows, that'd be interesting to me. Just moving on to the coins, we saw a big bounce yesterday. Last night, a lot of coins are starting to go up, and now we're starting to see some of them go down. Most of them are in the young greens, though. Not the double digit. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Let's see top gainers. B3 coin seems to always be up and down, up and down. Populous just absolutely killing it. That's why I'm hanging on to my PayPal as well. I was scooping up. So before the fork, I was telling everybody what I was getting. I was getting PayPal at what, 12 to 13 cents. That's already a double up. Bitcoin would have had to have doubled up again, right? Because I rode Bitcoin all the way up to that 7 and then was buying these for basically nothing on the dumps. And I was talking to some trader friends, man. Like, it's very interesting to me. This is one of the things that, all right, I'll go into something real quick. So how do you start? How do I start? How did I make my first million? So I made my first million. Basically, I found something that I knew I could help. And I saw that in order to reach the next level, it was going to need my help. I really like those type of projects. And that's how I started. It reminded me of a story Les Brown told. Basically, he was saying he wanted to work as a DJ. And he kept going up to the place and he said, hey, do you have any spots open? The guy said, no. You go up the next day. Hey, do you have any spots? The guy said, no. He kept doing that. And the guy kept getting very, very annoyed. And then one day, because Les Brown was saying, he didn't just want to be a DJ. He said, hey, I'll mop the floors, whatever you want. I'll get you coffee. It doesn't matter. And one day he went and the guy was so angry. He's like, I told you for the last time, no. And he's like, give me a coffee. So Les Brown was like, yes, sir. Went, got him coffee, and before you know it, he was cleaning the floors. He had already mastered being a DJ, though, right? So he had put in all this work. This is where, if you can get rid of your pride and your ego and not always think you have to be paid for everything you do in dollars, right? Because what's happening is you're building a relationship. When someone pays you, you're not building a relationship per se. It's kind of robotic. But when you do a favor for somebody, when you're helping somebody, you're building a relationship if you're picking the right people who are actually appreciative. And before you know it, one of the DJs, he was drinking and he was doing a bad job. So the guy called and said, hey, we need an emergency DJ. Call these guys. And Les Brown was like, yeah. Well, of course, he didn't call those guys. He was like, I'm the only one available. He stepped up because he was a DJ before, like prepared in the dark when no one's looking. He stepped up. He did a hell of a job. He ran with it from there. The point is, he built relationships, and that's very key. If you can find somebody you respect, if you can find somebody, this is what I do. When I was helping people, and not even people you respect, anybody, any kind of quality human being, it's all about building relationship. That's where the hidden equity is. That's where you start. When somebody's like, well, I have no money, but you can do favors. It doesn't cost money to do favors. It really doesn't. That's why it's also good to get a talent, to get a skill. With Google, you can learn anything. Like, I learned how to lose 100 pounds in 4 months by Googling and researching weight loss. I didn't have to go take a fucking class. Same with crypto and everything I've done in my life. So, you can self-teach yourself. You don't have to master it right away. You can take baby steps, get good, get better than average. So that's one thing. You can be better than average and then give it away for free, because if it's even better than average, you're going to be supplying some people with value. And then before you know it, you're going to get better if you keep doing the same thing. That's another thing. You got to be focused and humble. One of the things that I'm really bad at is I won't say I'm really bad at it. One thing that I've improved upon is I like to put a lot on my plate, because that's just how I am. And I've realized I'll be more humble, right? And I've really taken an approach differently when I see this crypto, because I've learned from my past speed bumps, so to speak. So, you know, now I'm focused on the projects I have, like No Limit Coin and onG, and I'm really a fan of buying some of these older coins that have been around, that I've done all this research, because this research takes time, these time investments, watching it every day, getting intimate with these coins. That's equity in my book. That's stuff you can't buy. That's being able to predict the future because you know the past so well. So, and all of these coins, even when they're on a dip, like basic tennis stroke, I was getting for 18, 21. You know, I mean, these are just every single, remember SYS coin, 24, 25, right? Every single one of these I have absolutely made a killing on by buying before the fork. What else was the other? I wouldn't say a killing, but hell, you know, going for 2,400, 2,500 Satoshi to this one hit at almost a 4,000 Satoshi last night. What was the other one? Civic. Oh yeah, Civic I was getting for like 34. It's 43 right now. At one point it was close to 5, you know. So all of those were nice wins, and I wanted to get these. I wanted to get a nice little stockpile of these because I just wanted to diversify a little bit. I actually bought my first Litecoin the other day. I can't fucking believe it. I believe Litecoin, with all of the debates, all the debacles going on, I put a nice little chunk into Litecoin. Nothing serious, but it's a nice chunk, you know, and I wanted to diversify a little bit. I was actually looking maybe to get into maybe Merino. I was looking at just Zcash just because the market cap is like, you know, a third of Merino's, and everyone seems to like the Z Snarks. But that's, again, you know, just me trying to be a little bit more diversified. This had woken me up, and because I was, you know, I had a lot of Bitcoin. Still have a lot of Bitcoin. I always have a lot of Bitcoin, but I was just thinking that this is a civil war. This is not going to be easy, and there's going to be basically 2 Bitcoins. I mean, it's just how it is. I'm not sure how it's going to prevail down the road when Bitcoin can do micropayments and everything Bitcoin can do. I still think just because of the politics, Bitcoin Cash is going to be around. It's not even about the tech anymore. It's just about who's behind it. And there's a lot of money behind Bitcoin Cash. You know, Wu is trying to make it to where, well, he's not trying. He did make it to where you need Bitcoin Cash to purchase their ASIC boost bullshit fucking mining software. So it's just very, very, you can just see how it's going. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know. It is what it is. I don't like crying over spilt milk. I am just on the hunt still, setting my lures, diversifying, going, oh yeah, so this is I haven't even looked at this. I got this and I was like, you know what? I'm going to look at it with my peeps. So this is behind the scenes onG. You should expect that when it's quiet, I'm always doing work. The same with my bit. The same in anything I've put my fucking name on. I'm always putting in work behind the scenes. So this is the app, right? We're going to look at it at the desktop. onG. You know, this is still, you know, I haven't even given my feedback to him yet. Just looking at it, just wanted to give a sneak peek of what has been going on behind the scenes. You see how it's just much better. Like, doesn't this feel much better than Facebook? You got your GeForce, your G Fuel. You got your favorite coin. You're going to have coin pages. You're going to have ICO pages where we make sure that the ICO is legit before you invest in it. So you know that there's real people with real world consequences. That's going to cut down, you know, basically if you're not buying if they don't have an onG page, the ICO, you're not going to fuck with them. Period. It's like not having a GitHub or something or a white paper. Like, I know some of them get away, but it's like, you know, if they're not on this, then they're probably, you know, it's a big deal that they're not on it. They should be on it. Just so much going on. And of course, I'm always, dude, I have so many fucking connections now. You know how many CEOs I know? I can pick up Skype and call 10, 20 different CEOs that I've done a lot of stuff for. Dude, I'm putting so much work in behind the scenes for free. When I land these deals, it's because I've given so much. At the end of the day, they're just like, well, fuck, man. If he's done all of this without, you know, we even being an official business partners, imagine if we're actually partners. And you know what? I'm not going to say anything different, but you know, all you get is more of me, more of my resources, but you're not going to get any less work ethic because I don't work harder after we become partners. You know, my work ethic is consistent throughout. I work as if I own 100% of the company, even though I own a very, very small percentage, just as an example. I'm just saying, like, my work ethic is 100% consistent. I believe that, you know, you don't want to build those bitch neurons, meaning if you work as hard as you're paid, so to speak, or you work as hard as you think, like, oh, well, I don't own 100% of the company, so why am I doing 100% of the task? I never go into that. I always over deliver. I always overkill every single time. Anytime I'm in something, it's 100%. I don't look at what's fair, what's not fair. That's how I always win. I don't fucking worry about the numbers. People get so damn worried about this and that, trying to make sure that their piece of steak is as big as everyone else's on the table. And it's like, man, I'm just fucking going after the animal. I'm fucking shooting my own tigers, bringing it down. It's like, oh, everyone has more steak than they could ever eat. Just these, I know I don't eat a lot of meat, but yeah, I tell a lot of meat eating analogies. But, I used to be a big meat eater, and I do believe in the wild. But this is just a really cool, just a little behind the scenes thing. This is actually the actual app. The desktop version is going to look different, but this is just very, very cool. No Limit Coin finally. Crypto Fantasy Sports is on the official. The beta is over, right? And I've been getting my ass kicked, guys, on the platform. I'm not going to lie. I am... these guys are wizards. I'm actually, hey, if you're really good at fantasy sports, I'm going to start staking people. And staking means if you're really good at fantasy sports, I have your buy-in. We split it 50-50. If you lose, you go into makeup. And once you clear makeup, yada, yada. If you're interested in that kind of thing, and you have to be really, really fucking good, contact @Sonya. That's SONYA. In the No Limit Coin Slack. Give her your name, all that good stuff. And yeah, we will definitely add you because dude, I'm realizing, man, there's just so many good wizards out here. And this Dan's naming rights is just me fucking punting 20K every week. Me punting 20K every week because these guys are just animals. But I'm super happy with the platform. Everything is going very, very well. I just very, very happy. Hockey launch is about to be launched. All these cool things. Just every day you can see the little improvements, just tweaking, everything coming faster, better. You're seeing this with onG. You're going to see it in any project I put my fucking name on. I just can't wait for MyBit's platform to come out with all the new developments. People are really going to get blindsided by that. I understand, like, the need to make money when you have no money is so great, and you feel like you can't miss out on any opportunity. You feel like you always have to try to catch the next moving ship, so to speak. But that's the reason people, man, because imagine, man, it could have been so much different. Like, it's so easy to miss the gains. Like, I could have easily, when No Limit Coin went from 10 Satoshi to 900, just, dumped my coins and been out of the project within a couple of weeks or a month, right? I could easily have done that. But then, I miss out on it, on all the future gains, all the future relationships, right? It's just, people need to realize, in order to get to a destination, you got to fucking chill on some kind of vessel, right? To constantly stop, get off, get on another vessel that costs time, money, and energy, and it's not always going to win. People think that they're expert traders. You got to think, I make my moves very fucking calculated. When I'm buying fucking PayPal, it's because it's less than half of what it was during the ICO. When I'm buying, Kick for 3 cents, like, it's not because I believe these are going to be super badass great coins. I believe that they're going to be around, and that they're, in cryptocurrency, we have something called a floor. You don't fucking have these really with stocks. In this case, like, you had the ICO, you can see what the coins went for. You can see what the company raised. So you actually kind of have like this floor where you can say, well, hell, if it's below this, then, if it does succeed, you'll think that just getting back to ICO price is a win. When when you can double your money on just getting back to the ICO price, and you believe that the coin has a decent team, then, that's usually a good price. And another thing is, if a coin, like, there's so many coins that I believe that are due for a big boost. But, like, let's say the coin has been worth this amount, and then it has a super major upgrade. And yeah, you have all this Bitcoin Cash sucking up the market, just a lot of craziness. But if that coin's the same price as it was before the upgrade, then you also got to look at that, and you can say, well, hell, man, this coin was worth this amount before it got super upgraded. Now it's worth the same price. Maybe it's loading up for a trip to the moon. those are the kind of, these aren't fucking guesses I'm taking. These are calculated sniper moves. Every one of the reasons I make the move makes sense. So, I'm not just blindly hopping into Walton when it was fucking $8. I got into fucking Walton when it was 80 cents during the China bloodbath. You guys saw it. I bought it on Binance on my channel. That was when everyone was dumping. That was when I was getting Neo for $14. When everyone was running away, China this, China that, I was like, well, hell, no risk, no reward. Go big or go home. And I fucking made a killing off the China bloodbath, just like I made a killing off the July fork. And, I didn't make an absolute, Bitcoin fucking tripled. So, of course, just by holding Bitcoin, I made decent money. But, this fork situation was a little bit different because the alts got wamboozled. Everything got wamboozled. The Bitcoin Cash wamboozled everybody, right? Because what was going to happen was everyone was going to get their forks. They were going to sell. People were going to buy altcoins. Altcoins were going to moon. Bitcoin probably maybe a mooned or just chilled. Who the fuck knows? But all of that got thrown out the window when they fucking pulled the Bitcoin Cash on us. So now Bitcoin Cash just basically sucked up most of the volume. You're talking about 10 billion at one point. That's just like a vacuum cleaner to these alts. And it really took a lot of the market's thunder away with the prediction, but still a good time to prolong the inevitable with some of these alts that are just severely undervalued. That's another reason I got Litecoin, because Litecoin's kind of a hedge, man. Charlie Lee, he has his foot in both sides. He's like a fucking gangster. He's like Littlefinger. I don't know. Charlie Lee's like in everyone's camp. No one really hates Charlie Lee. He's kind of cool with the Bitcoin Cash people. He's kind of cool with the Bitcoin people. He's cool with the Ethereum people. No one really hates Charlie Lee. Just a cool fucking gangster. He's got the China ties. So I just think that Litecoin's going to be out here. It's going to be around. I normally don't do that, but it's kind of like buying silver to hedge against gold or some shit. I don't know. I feel like I still have a large portion of Bitcoin. I just wanted to diversify a little bit, and I did diversify more into Neo at about $24 yesterday. I got a lot of other coins diversified at least 20 to 25% of probably about 20% of my Bitcoin's holding. I liquidated yesterday into alts, so that's a big part. That's a big portion for me, and just fucking chilling. I'm really glad to see that Bitcoin's fighting back. We really needed the Bitcoin Cash to have a big decrease if we were going to see things cool off. Now I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. Like I know I don't underestimate Roger and Wu and all of them. I'm not underestimating. I think there's going to be a rapid fight. I think all next year is just going to be a bloodbath over the price. But that's a good thing because they're just going to be fighting each other. You have so much support for Bitcoin already. Bitcoin Cash just kind of comes out of the blue. Very Eastern favored. Bitcoin's very Western favored. It's you can easily start to see maybe China doesn't come up with their own currency. Maybe they just use Bitcoin Cash because they have so much control over it. And maybe some of these Western countries start to, because things are going to become more centralized. That's why the 1 megabyte block is absolutely crucial. If you can make it instant, if you can keep Bitcoin's integrity, making it fast, I do believe that the fees can't be $100 forever. I think there has to be a scaling solution, or Bitcoin is going to miss out on a lot. Yeah, it's a great store of value. However, we're in a digital age where people need to start using this money. And yeah, I know the first thing, someone said something, I'm going to kill here, but buying Bitcoin buying coffee with your Bitcoin is just so overkill, right? It's like having like a fucking tank to kill a mouse. It's just so much protection. It's just such a heavy duty technology. To deploy it on a coffee seems like a sin. But at the same time, we're trying to get away from the fiat world. And if we're trying to get away from the fiat world, yeah, we have Litecoin. However, last time I checked, Litecoin doesn't have $6-7 billion in 24-hour volume. And time is on our side. Time is not on our side. The time for Bitcoin to get as much mass adoption is now before the government stomp it out. That's the power we snuck through. Bitcoin could have been killed at the beginning in its womb. The government could have banned it and never would have been existed. It would have been done. It could have been died with Silk Road. But they didn't. They let it linger, and now it's growing, and now it's a giant snowball that it's almost unstoppable. So the point is, Bitcoin, if we could get it to the point where it does have the lower transaction fees and it is used like it's supposed to be used, peer-to-peer cash, that's one thing Bitcoin Cash has. Like, I'm not fucking demonizing people blindly. I understand that the fees are too high. We need to, the core team needs to fix this. And I believe it is essential to get Bitcoin to be in as many hands as possible. I always believe it's going to be a very good store of value, but I do hope that the Lightning Network with all these cool off-chain layers, it's going to be absolutely awesome. I am definitely not betting against Bitcoin. And, if it takes another year, the sooner the fucking better, obviously, because we are fighting against governments. We're fighting against giant billionaires that are making their calculated plans on how they want to control Bitcoin. So the more hands we can get it in right now, the better is what I'm saying. So the Bitcoin Cash Bitcoin dumping from all these Bitcoin Cash holders, it's not a bad thing. It's going back into our hands. There's more people with Bitcoin, like I said at the beginning, that are decentralized and centralized mindset. But this has been long here. I'm going to kill it. Cheers. Peace.